Hey, what's up? It's Josh Shanley with Reticulous.com and Agent Wolf, and I've got a very special treat for you today. In just a minute, you'll get a sneak peek at a recent members-only strategy session. On it, we outline a simple 5-step process that you can use immediately to convert more seller leads into appointments. This was one of our best sessions ever. We do these live group coaching strategy sessions with our members 3 times a week. It was one of our best ones we have ever done. In the video, just so you know, it's raw and unedited, so please excuse that, but it's okay because I think you'll find that the content is really awesome. Now, there should also be a link below this video for you to download the document we created outlining this process. So for those of you who are visual, you like to have a document to walk through it, we'll include that as well. Plus, there's a link for more information about our various lead packages. Okay, then, let's get to the good stuff, shall we?
Anyway, what do you got?
Okay, can you bring up a Google Doc or something? Yeah, a Google Doc would be great that we could then associate with this. And so this is a member, Vicky. Vicky, if you can, Vicky, are you getting the done for you seller leads? Maybe I misunderstood that. Let me pull that up. She's getting seller leads. She's not getting as much interaction as she might like. Okay, she is getting the done for you seller leads. Sorry, Vicky, I have your link. Never mind. Sorry. She's gotten about 20 leads. Not working with anybody yet. People are not responding as much as I'd like. I keep following up. Would love to connect with you and get some advice. The majority are number. Tried sending the CMA and asking them to let me know their thoughts. I've also tried sending an email prior to the CMA. Okay, so a number of things here. First of all, lead generation in general is a huge numbers game. You will not. It's just far different than getting referrals or other types of business. It just is. Therefore, the first thing I will say is that 20 leads is not a big enough, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just not enough volume to make any conclusions, good, bad, or ugly. And I'm talking about this specific interaction that Vicky and I have been having, but this is for anyone. Because I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it very well could be that 3 of the next 10, from leads 21 to 30, may be very much very hot leads ready to sell now. What we're finding in most cases is about 1 out of 30 of these seller leads are highly responsive and ready to sell now. So there's going to be a mix of people who are just unmotivated. There's going to be a mix of, I think generally speaking, it'll break down somewhere around this. A third of them will be somewhat unmotivated. A third of them will be either just looking, may not be thinking about selling for 6 to 18 months. And I think a third of them are relatively serious and might be interested in selling anywhere from now to the next 6 months. So the best way that, and I would like feedback here. We don't have a huge crowd, but we got a decent crowd. So I'm curious. Unfortunately, the people that are doing really well with these leads aren't ever on here because they're busy on appointments. So I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. So the problem, like the thing you don't want to do is you don't want to repel the third that are relatively serious and ready to go, right? I mean that, and I sort of went on a rant the other day. I think it was the other day, or maybe it was yesterday, about this. You want to make sure that it's a balancing act. You want to make sure that you don't lose them to someone else, but you also don't want to repel them. So the basic protocol that we're recommending, and I think Vicky is following this, but I don't know if she's following it to a T. But here's what I would do. So Vicky's a done-for-you sell a lead client. The way we've got those set up is the lead comes in, they automatically get an email from Vicky attempting to get the phone number of the client. And the messaging, I can pull up the messaging here. It's something along the lines of saying, hey, I may need to contact you to verify that the tax record information is accurate. What's a good number and time to reach you? That's very, very simple and low key. So that's the part that's automated. The part that's not automated is delivering the home value request. And there's a video in the strategy session of me sort of breaking down an example of another one of our clients who is sending an email with some basic information. And in that, I break down the fact that it was a little too long, a little too, not even salesy, but it was just too wordy. It wasn't conversational. That's what you want all of your email communications to be, conversational, and it wasn't conversational enough. So we have the automated email that goes out. The next thing would be the CMA. Now, some people are doing full CMAs. I do not do that, in my opinion. Do not do that, because you're going to waste too much time. I would give a very basic, broad value spectrum of value, or whatever, and basically say something simple. And we can even pull up the email that I sort of cut down and chunk it down, but basically say, hey, look, if you're really serious about, finding out what your home is worth, I need to come out and see your house. It'll take 10 or 15 minutes. When's a good time and a good number to reach you? Very conversational. And those people are the ones that you can then spend the time doing a full CMA. One of our members, God bless him, he had over 100 leads, and he was sending each one of them like a 26-page CMA. No one's going to read that.
Well,
or very few will. And his results were not good. My guess is because he was sending too much information again. The other thing, and probably the most important thing that I think you can do to get the people calling you is, and again, this is in the members area. It's also, we have a page in the members area specifically for the seller lead clients, is sending a little handwritten note. And I think the script was, are you interested in selling your house at blank area to one of my buyer prospects? Call me, phone number, and your name. And it could be a little handwritten letter. It could be handwritten on a postcard. Those three things, and then setting them up on the alerts. So 4 things: the automated initial response, the CMA, and it's not even a CMA, the handwritten letter, and then the property listing alerts. Those 4 things done in that sequence, I think, is the best way to get. And I wouldn't send, there are going to be some people that send you their email, right, or their phone number right away. Obviously, don't send them the postcard. And if they respond to your sort of mini CMA, I wouldn't send them the postcard either, right? The ones that you're getting in conversation. So I do day 1, the lead comes in Monday, the automated email goes out. Tuesday morning, you send the basic CMA. If you still don't have their phone number by Wednesday morning, you send out the handwritten letter and you set them up on the MLS drip. Does that make sense? Who's got feedback to that or ideas to that? Or to add or take away or their own experience?
The best ones I'm seeing, and this I know from personal, is if you can just say, hey, I think it's worth this, and then end with something that shows you know what's up and digs into their property. You just say, hey, I know there's a bunch of townhomes over there. Your house is one of those townhomes, or does it have a garage? It's in this school district, right? I have a buyer over there.
Yeah, again, all of this stuff, lead generation, the way you win at this is simply by getting into conversations with them.
Yeah.
So that's perfectly illustrated with what Ryan just said. Just making sure. Hi, thanks about that. Just making sure. Is yours one of the townhouses over there, or just making sure yours is in this school district, or do you have a finished base? Whatever. Your knowledge of the market at some point is going to be important there, and I don't know if this is ethical or not, but you can ask a question that you know the answer to, right? You could see on, so maybe you see on the tax data. I've got a message coming in. Sorry. Anyway, lost my train of thought. Oh, you can ask. So you could see. Right. Let's say you could see from the tax records that it is a townhouse, but you don't know if it's got a garage, right? So you could say, I think yours is a townhouse. Does yours have a garage? Or I think yours has a basement. Is that finished or not? Because that affects the value. Just again, it's all about getting into a conversation. Because if you get into a conversation, you'll have the opportunity to build rapport, etc. And once you start interacting, they're much more likely to be like, oh yeah, sure, you can come over and check out the house. Again, but out of 30 leads or out of 100 leads, you're not going to get in conversations with all of them. And you don't want to. You can't handle all that, right? It's a numbers game. Is this making sense to anybody? We're not getting a whole lot of questions. Dan thinks that's a great protocol to follow. He likes what we're doing here. Okay, Vicky says yes. Good. I'm glad, Vicky, because I know you are getting leads, and I want you to get better results with it. And quite honestly, this is an evolving process, right? Because the fact that we're generate these leads, and it's all still relatively new. But I think looking at this, there'll be some slight tweaks, but I think this is going to be the best protocol.
I think this is where people are shooting themselves in the foot. This is where you can throw up.
Right, and that's the big, and that's why I was ranting on Monday, because for that very reason. I think you're 100% right, and it's,
I guess it's that persona thing. Your uncle's best friend just emailed you asking you how much his house is worth, or your uncle just emailed you, and how would you respond?
Yeah, you wouldn't tell your uncle, like you wouldn't. I'm not gonna. Well, I am gonna pick, but I'm not gonna share her name. I'm not picking on her, but I'll give an example to illustrate what Ryan is saying. I just have to find it. Where'd it go? You would not respond to your uncle by saying, I am here to help and the pleasure will always be mine. You wouldn't say, when you're ready, let's set up a time to discuss your home's details, comparable sales in the neighborhood, the housing market, and the home selling process in general. You wouldn't say all of that. Right? Hey, Bill, it's been a while since I've been at your house. I remember you have a basement. Is it finished? I can't remember. Stuff like
probably
that.
Worth it. Yeah. It's probably worth about $225. I haven't been there in years. Yeah.
I gotta come see it. It'll take me 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. When can I come see it? Anyway. Yes, it does. Will asking for the seller's number on the form help connect with a third of more motivated leads? Yeah, we have one or two of our clients. We're asking for the phone number saying optional but recommended. I just don't have the stats here. I am always a proponent of getting the most leads. I can see in this case where pieces of this are not automated, where you may make a personal choice to narrow down or pare down the amount of leads by asking for more information, by requiring. And in some cases, it might mean your lead cost goes from $1 to $2. In some cases, it might go from 1 to 10. So it's a personal decision you're going to have to make. I wish I had some data for you, and I'll work on having that data for next week, but I can't answer that right now, Dan.
Trying to find that personas stuff. I think Chaperone had that within his paid content, within his product. I was hoping to be able to Google it.
Yeah, but I think the biggest tip, I think, really is if you read your email and just ask yourself, would I send this to my mom?
Right.
And if the answer is no, don't hit send. Or would I send this to my girlfriend who I get coffee with? Then don't hit send, right? People want to receive. People communicate on email with people, not with businesses or salespeople. They want to talk to a person, not some sort of, sales robot, Anyway. Dan, I used the power editor and the 3 follow-up emails in the method. I'm definitely going to make these changes now. Remove the power editor settings and use the following steps for seller leads. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's going to be better, Dan. Again, all of this is all still in sort of evolution type phase. So, I don't think I don't think there's much that will change about this. We might tweak the copy of the first email that goes out over time. But the step 2, the step 3, and the step 4 and step 5, they're not really going to change. I'm confident that is the best way to treat these. I personally wouldn't do step 5, but if you're out and about, it's not going to hurt, and you're not afraid of doing that. It's not going to hurt.
Step 3 is huge. That used to be all I did. So,
yep.
When I was buying those house value CMA leads from back in the day, and you get those.
Apparently, those still exist because somebody emailed me, hey, what are these like the home value, the house values leads? And I was trying to figure it out, but they won't tell you what they are unless you request a call with them.
It's pretty similar. It was pretty old school, but and I think they had an automated, or I was using something called SOAR EMLS, which I think they ended up buying. But that was it. When a lead came in, they got set up for property alerts, and forget it.
Yep. So, Vicky, yes, you do get access to these Google Docs, and we'll put them, and even the one I referenced before, the where I punched up the person's step 2 email, they're in the members area under strategy sessions.
Yeah, I just dropped this link to everybody.
Yeah, so, and we'll also put this with today's recording in there as well.
Oops, I think I sent it to the wrong link. There we go. I might have just chatted everybody 5 times. Oops.
And see, this is so I didn't record this part, but at the very beginning, about half of you were on that are on now, so I'm going to say it again. At the very beginning, I said that the primary purpose for these calls is group coaching and strategy, right? There are times, typically pretty frequently, where we have new ideas or content and so forth, but these calls are always better if we have stuff like this from members like Vicky, who are having problems, right? Let us know your struggles and we'll try to help. And if we can't, we'll try and find the help. I mean, I think this was valuable to everybody, and it's, it's stuff we should have outlined better anyway, but, sometimes we don't realize that or know that if people aren't saying what Vicky told me. I'm getting some leads. I'd like to get more interaction, so please share. Please share. Please ask questions. We want to help you guys, and that's we can do a better job of that if you guys are asking questions and so forth. Anyway.
Sky, can you send us your step 2? Sky's doing step 2, 3, and wants to know if she's moving on to step 4. She's not getting conversions, but if you have your step 2 or just the language in it, maybe it's just our script. It'd be good to see.
Yeah, see, the magic I think in step 2 is not asking. I think you'll get some response if you use what I would call a more generic expectation of response, meaning, you could say that first line, but to narrow it down, I really would need to come check out your property in person. It probably would take 10 or 15 minutes. What's a good time? I think you'll get some I know you'll get some response there. You're going to get better response if you ask a question specific to the property. And it might be, there might be a pool of 10 questions that you ask in step 2, and you pick the one that makes the most sense. But yeah, I don't know.
I can't stress enough. Number 3 is next year. You get a few hundred people on this, they're going to be sending you buyers, sellers, everything.
Yeah. Hey dudes, really good listing presentations, ... scripts from Mike Ferry, etc. Are you asking, Wayne, I'm assuming you're asking where you could get that kind of stuff?
Who's got a good listing presentation? I don't even pay attention.
Well, NAEA, Wayne, I would check out NAEA. They're certified listing agent, or I forget. They have a certified buyer and a certified seller program. Those are top notch.
Just show up with the comps printed out from the MLS and the listing paperwork, all in a hurry with your shirt untucked, like you're gonna get the listing and you're in a hurry. You get it every time.
Susan says maybe KW's listing presentation. I'll tell you, here's what I did when I was regularly listing properties. I didn't do quite what Ryan said, but here, I had an easy exit listing. I didn't have a presentation. I had paperwork. And I would come and I'd say, I would go through what I had. Which was included an easy exit listing of which no one ever took me up on the offer. It had, outlined in writing what I was going to do to market the property and the actual listing agreement. That was really it. And I would also bring, depending on if it was my second time out or whatever, I would bring a printout of the database of buyers that I had. Because no one else is coming out with that. What? Like
this, Wayne.
Wayne
wants to know if he should wear a lime green thong. That'll do it right there. Actually, I might have to get that.
Good question. How often should MLS updates be sent? Daily, weekly? Some I know their time frame, so I based it on that. But for the rest. That's a good question. Some MLSs have more options for how you can send that out than others. I don't know that I have a real strong opinion on that. I'd have to think on that. I'd probably say weekly. Send a weekly update.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm reading Sky's. I could share it here.
We're live. Oh, I didn't see that he posted that. Donna says, I've received very good response from the seller leads. However, most people who contacted me after the CMA said the market had not gained enough for them to sell at the moment. Some said they wanted to refinance. I did get phone numbers. Donna, please tell me that you are taking those ones that have said refinance, giving them to your mortgage lender, and telling your mortgage lender, hey, this is a two-way street. I'm going to give you these. Let's work it on the other end too. In essence, send those back. Send some business back to me. I know some folks who are selling the leads to their mortgage pros or working out some sort of arrangement there. Yes, I know there's RESPA issues. You can figure it out. But yeah, please, I hope you're leveraging those as well. Oh, like Haas Pratt's thing, Yeah, Wayne, I don't know if you have Haas's program, but yeah, he's got some great stuff in there. When I was listing regularly, I was using some stuff sort of like that. I had a blank point marketing plan. I don't remember how many points I had, but I would show them that these are the things I'm going to do. I would even have them initial it. Just like get them in the sort of mood of like initialing. It wasn't like any official paperwork, but I'd be like, can you just initial there? So it's just me putting in writing to you what I'm going to do for your property, that kind of stuff. But yeah, Haas's is fantastic. Haas's program is fantastic.
I'm getting the tendency is to talk too much. I just tried to strip that down as much as I could. What Sky gave me.
Yeah, I honestly,
it sounded very professional, which is fine, but it sounds very professional what Sky had there.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I did with the punch up I did on Monday. There was nothing inherently wrong with what the person was saying. It's just we're all super busy, right? You want something that they can read on their smartphone without scrolling, right? You want an email that they can open, read it, 2-3 sentences tops, and say, oh yeah, I'll hit reply, give a short answer reply, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, that's what the goal is.
This might work.
Has anyone used another agent's listing to promote in an RE deal of the day post ad? Yeah, we do it. That's almost exclusively what we do for some of our private clients and stuff, Dan. So absolutely. You want their permission to do that, but yeah, absolutely.
How's this for an expectation of response? This is another riff.
Yep.
I think if you just sent this and didn't do anything without a question at the end, you'd probably be better off than the other thing. But
yeah. I would say the more specific you could be. I have 113 buyers right now, or buyer prospects right now. If I could find you one, I just think like a lot is open to interpretation. And in marketing, the more specific you can be with any of this, the better off you are.
Sky, I guess the biggest feedback is a lot of this comes naturally, but it's just to unprofessionalize it a little bit. Just conversationalize it. I don't know if there's a good word for it, but I can see that right away.
Would you send it to your mom? Yeah. I guess you could send the professional email to your mom, but your mom would be like, "Why are you sending me this mumbo jumbo?" Yeah. Oh wait. Okay. Hold on. I might have some data on the phone number optional thing.
Oh, cool. Oh yeah, we still. I mean, Craigslist still works. They're just getting. Dan's asking if we're still doing Craigslist. We're still all for Craigslist. It's just they got to be such a pain in the butt that it was easier to go spend a few bucks on Facebook. And you'll see. I mean, you might get a lead or two per ad for the time spent, but it's hard to accomplish the consistency you get with a Facebook ad.
Yep.
But sure, if you consistently post on the seller side, it's going to be tougher, right, Josh?
Yeah.
We're talking more specifically generating buyer leads with Craigslist. You may get better quality leads. We still haven't really figured that out, right?
Better quality leads doing what?
Meaning, if somebody's actually searching on Craigslist, they may be close. They may be with moving in the next 3 months, more likely to be moving in the next 3 months than somebody who happens to see an ad on Facebook and is just curious about foreclosures in the area.
Yep.
Just
all right,
the
so
intent.
I'm looking so far out of 23 leads on this one test where we have the phone optional but recommended. One phone number so far. Looks like 1 out of 23. But the good news is it doesn't seem to be hurting the cost per lead too much. However, the caveat there is this is a market that maybe is, I don't know how I want to say this. It's easier to generate leads in this market. It's a smaller town type market, so the cost per lead is lower. But let me say specifically. So for $85, we've generated 23 leads, one of which has the phone number with the phone number optional. So my guess is we probably, I'm just guessing at this point. But my guess is if we didn't have the phone number optional on there, we probably would have pulled twice as many leads. My guess.
What's that on?
What's that?
Is that on the seller?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
it's just weird. I mean, once you get into this kind of way of doing things, you don't even ever want to have to call them anyway.
Yeah, you want them calling you, I think.
You don't want to.
Or you'll end up scheduling a time to see their property through email.
Yeah.
And you'll meet them at the door. And, let's see here. Yes, Dan, we say that it's optional but recommended. Dan says, do you mention that it's optional? And it says, yes, optional but recommended. That's just something we got from abcmouse.com.
You should maybe instead of optional recommended, you should try humor and just say, so we can call you every day. List of this.
So we can hound you to list with us.
Well, this is good. We should just do the same session. Actually, that'll save us a lot of work, Josh. Let's just rerun this session because this is the big thing right here, the conversion. We should just rerun this session on autoplay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It'd be funny if tomorrow everybody who's on now came and that's what happened. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. That's funny. But true. I mean, the buyer follow-up isn't exactly the same, but it, I am positive the biggest mistake most people are still making that is killing conversion for them is long-ass emails. Get into a conversation with people. They'll start to feel like they know you, and then when they are truly ready to do a transaction, you're the person that they will call, email, or text.
Here's that from Rob. This is pretty cool. Just quoting what he put in the chat.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
So I think it'll sell for this much, but I have some ideas on how you can get more. There's something I can do that nobody else is offering to do. I'm going to make your house worth $20,000 more. So if you're open to meeting with me, you're going to make another $20,000. That's what it kind of implicitly says, right?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really good.
See,
that's awesome.
The problem for us is some of this stuff, it's hard for us to test and quantify. But in theory, that follows best practices. It's 3 sentences. There's an expectation of response. There's a potential benefit conveyed.
Yep.
All of it fits smart marketing practice.
So here's what they asked for.
I know nobody on here thinks I'm full of shit, but just in case you do, there's a book called Predictable Revenue. It's from the guy who led the let me read it here. The outbound sales process that in just a few years helped add $100 million in recurring revenue to Salesforce.com, almost doubling their enterprise growth with 0 cold calls. The number one thing that they did was send emails like we're telling you to send emails. And they were sending them cold to business owners that they thought would be a good fit for their company. I'm trying to find an example of the email in here that when I read it, I just got a huge friggin' smile on my face for 2 reasons. One, I know what we're talking about works, even if most people struggle with the idea that it's sort of counterintuitive to most people in business. So it validated that, and I had never seen anybody really put it like in pretty much exactly the fashion that we recommend, and even used some of the like the 3 principles that we tell you: short and sweet, a benefit or potential benefit, and expectation of response. He even used some of that same language. I can't find the.
Yeah, I just read it too. I remember reading it too.
It's good. It's a good book. It's a little. I'm not necessarily recommending that you go read the book, although it's a very easy read, because it's not a ton of it's not directly applicable to a real estate agent, but it just validated what we're talking about on, again, adding $100 million in recurring revenue by using stupid simple emails. Man, I wish I could find it, because it was as if we had written it. I can't find it, but I promise you it was like exactly what we do. Between 1 and 3 sentences, asking a question, conveying a potential benefit. I don't even know that.
Well, a lot of what he says about separating the sales development from the actual closing, going higher level for broker owners, there could be a lot there to be said for taking a lot of this out of your salespeople's hands, doing the lead generation, having somebody who does the initial response and somebody else, somebody who's good at doing the warming over email, probably, and then somebody else who goes out and takes the listing.
Yeah. So here, guidelines for writing your own emails. These emails should look as if they are a single email that came from a person. They should be text-based, not fancy HTML. State simply and clearly why you're reaching out. Make the email easy to read and respond to on a BlackBerry or smartphone. Offer credibility. Ask just one simple-to-answer question, such as for a referral. That part's not necessarily applicable. One trick that I've seen reps use is to send an email to a new contact with a subject starting with RE:. So, like, your subject line for when you send this one might say RE:, your property at blank address.
Yeah.
An example of what not to write. Subject: improve your sales effectiveness in Q2. Chuck, Are you continually challenged to project accurate revenue? Do you know who your best reps are and what makes them successful? Do you know which marketing activities your company engages in are generating closed deals? You know there are some big deals in the pipeline, but you can easily generate a real-time report detailing their status? Question mark. Does this sound familiar? It just goes on and on and on. And
so that email could have been, "Hey Chuck, do you need more leads?"
Yeah. That's sort of what
reply yes or no.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, good book, made me smile. Sometimes you just need to be reminded. We often need to be reminded. Being reminded and being validated over and over, it's important. It's important. The low value is a short sale price and the high value is a remodeled price. That was from Rob, who had that there. Any recommendations on this? Oh, okay. Let's see. We got a page to look at. Okay, I hope you really enjoyed that and got a lot of value from it. You may even want to watch it a time or two more and take some notes as well. If you'd like more leads so you can use this protocol more often and get more listing appointments and listings, then I'd recommend checking out the lead packages below. Lastly, if you found this training to be valuable, do us a favor and click the like, +1, or Twitter options below. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, you can enter them below or just email me, which I will include a link to that below, or you can just reply to whatever email led you to this video. Thanks for your time, and we'll be back again soon with more cool stuff.